Hello everyone. This is a video that will help you with a strategy you can use to annotate while you are taking the English II EOC. We will share with you throughout the semester multiple ways that you can interact with the text to help you with the EOC, and this is the first way. So this is called a Cornell Notes method. It's a way for you to organize your thinking as you read. It keeps you engaged with the text, and it helps you to understand you don't have to pay attention to every single tiny detail. This is a long test, so we really want to focus your reading, and this is a strategy that will help with that. So we want you to follow along in your composition notebooks or on your notebook paper, whatever you're using to keep your notes in. And this video is going to go with our practice text this week called A Lasting Tribute. So the first thing I want you to do is write the title of the piece at the top, and then you're going to make two columns. Notice the column on the left is smaller than the column on the right. You'll write more words over here on the right hand side, and so you need to draw your lines, keep everything organized. And one of the strategies that we ask students to use is to read the questions first. Now this may be a little different than what you heard in middle school. I think a lot of times in elementary and middle school they teach you to read the passage first, then read the questions, and then go back and read the passage again. With this English II EOC, that is challenging because you simply don't have enough time to do that. You have to read multiple text and answer multiple choice questions and complete at least 4 constructed responses. So we're trying to help you really focus your thinking and focus your time. So go to the questions first. So I'm going to show you, try to do a quote split screen here. Your first question: what is an objective summary of the selection? So what you're going to do in your notes is you're going to write the key words from the question. We do not expect you to write the entire question. Do not write the entire question. That will take you too much time. You're just pulling the key words. So for number 27 here, which is our first question, so I'm actually going to change my number here. I'm going to write objective summary. Now you should have taken notes from Ms. Smith's Common EOC Terms PowerPoint, and this is a term that is on that PowerPoint, so you want to make sure that you pay attention to that. You can go back and you can look at your notes. I am not at this time reading the answer choices. I'll just forget them. There's no point in reading the answer choices. I just want to know, what is it I have to look for? So I have to look for this objective summary. So I have 27 here, and I put 27 over here on the right hand side. I'm going to make sure that my numbers are lined up. It will be easier for me to read later on. So I'm going to skip a little bit of space, and I'm going to put 28. And notice they line up. We want to make sure that they are easy to read. So for number 28, it asks, what is the purpose of beginning the selection with a summary of the author's trip to India thus far, and then moving to a description of the Taj Mahal? So author's purpose is an item that will have a lot of questions. Pretty much every passage that you read will have some question about the author's purpose. So it asks about the purpose with the summary at the beginning and then moving to a description. So I'm going to put here summary at the beginning, which then moves to a description of the Taj Mahal. And I'm just going to write description. So as I read, I know that I need to try to figure out the author's purpose as he moves from a summary at the beginning to a description of the Taj Mahal. Again, I'm still not writing anything on the right-hand side. So next, leave a little bit of space. I have the hole there. We're going to do 29. In the last sentence of the first paragraph, what does the word indelible mean? So some of the questions that you have will ask you about the meaning of words. And even if you don't know the dictionary definition, the job that you have is to try to figure out what the word means from context clues. So as you're reading, when we come back to this question, one of the strategies that we can use is putting each one of these words in the place of indelible. So you also want to look at markers where they ask you to look at a certain area of the text. So we know we need last sentence, first paragraph, and we want to know what the word indelible might mean. Again, not writing the entire question. So next, number 30. What can be inferred from paragraph 6? Inferred is another common term you're going to see on the EOC. So I'm going to write inferred and paragraph 6. So I was getting ready to write chapter 6. You won't have chapters on this test, I promise. So paragraph 6. And I'm going to skip some space again. (31) What does the author mean when he describes the Taj Mahal as synonymous with India itself? So here I'm going to write meaning, because it asks about what does the author mean, and then I'm going to write this little bit of a quote. I know I need to look for that. Okay, so as I'm reading, I'm going to make sure I look for that direct quote. Remember, if it's in quotation marks, that means it's like that in the text exactly. So next, when I get to 32, that's the last one I'll put on the front of this sheet. And of course, if you write bigger, your spacing may be different, and that's okay. If you write smaller, it may be different. 32, why does the author include the sentence below from paragraph 3? So again, this is one of those, it takes you to a certain point in the text. So for 32, I'm going to write paragraph 3. And then I'm just going to include, because that's a really long quote, you don't have time to write all of that down. I'm going to write the morning sun. And I know when I get to that sentence in the text, I need to really pay attention. So that's just my alert. So far on the front of this sheet, we have written down keywords from 27 through 32. Okay, we have 4 more questions left. So number 33, what is the significance of the statement below from the last paragraph? Okay, again, that's a really long quote, a long section. We're not going to write all of that down, but what we are going to write down is last paragraph. And I don't even know if you've seen this before, but we could just use the paragraph symbol. That'll help you go even faster. And I'm going to write, as I departed. So I will know when I get to this sentence, I need to kind of slow down a little bit and pay attention. I'm going to write my number here. So next we're going to go to number 34. What is the author's purpose in writing this selection? Another purpose question. But this time, it's for the entire selection, not just the first paragraph. That's important. The answers may be a little bit different. Okay, still no notes. You haven't read the text yet, and that's okay. I'm trying to save you some time. 35, how does the author unfold his ideas about the Taj Mahal? In this case, unfold means how does he describe his ideas? How does he write about his ideas about the Taj Mahal? So for the keywords, I'm going to put unfold ideas. In other words, what's the structure about the Taj Mahal? So you also get a little glimpse when you look at the questions first about what the passage is about. Now 36 is a constructed response. We want you to plan for these just like you would for the multiple choice questions. So number 36. How does the author use language to advance his point of view? And point of view is another one of the terms you should have taken notes on. And I'm going to write over here on the right hand side just to remind myself this is a constructed response. So you will end up writing a paragraph about this one. Okay? So in your steps as you are reading for the EOC, we want you to actively engage, actively interact, participate with the text. And one way that you can do this is using the Cornell Notes method. So you'll write the title at the top. You'll divide your paper into 2 columns, with the left-hand side being a little smaller than the right-hand side. And then on the left, as you read the questions first, you'll go through and write keywords from the question stem. You do not need to read the answer choices yet. You won't remember them. It will just take up more of your time. Mark if you have a constructed response. Make sure your numbers on your left and your right correspond with each other. Okay? Notice the notes have some breathing room. There's a little bit of white space. This will help you as you go back and read. So again, this is one method to help you with annotating as you are reading for the EOC.